Okay, hi everybody. This is Jonathan Simkin, the president of 604 Records. And once again, I'm holding a mic. I don't know, man. I own the company, and yet I'm the one who always ends up holding a mic, which I don't know. Something feels just wrong about this.
All those gold records and no mic stands.
And here I am holding my own. I should have some employee holding it down on the ground, holding it up. Because
sitting on another employee.
Yes, because that's just the way I am. I feel like I've had some success, and therefore that means people should bow down to me. And,
right.
and it's just my nature. Because what we do in this business is so fucking important that I really need to. Okay. That's a hell of a way to start a podcast, isn't it? Okay, today we have three people here. We have Danny Craig to my immediate left, who is one of the principals of Rock is Dead, which is a great label in Vancouver, or I guess technically I would say it's in Langley.
Chilliwack? Well, the mailing address would be Chilliwack. Yeah.
Okay, mailing address is Chilliwack, home of the best corn in the world.
Indeed. True. 100%.
It is true. It actually is true.
I got a fridge full of it right now.
Yeah. It's good shit. And we also are happy to have two members of Rock is Dead recording artists, Chase a Bear.
Hey.
Hello.
So why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Troy Gilmore. I'm the lead singer in the band and one of the songwriters, and I started it with my friend here.
Hi, I'm Braden Royer. I've been in Chase the Bear for 9 years now. 9 years with Troy.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But wasn't it a different name at first?
Looking California. Because
No, I wasn't even thinking that. Wasn't it somebody and somebody? Like, wasn't it?
No.
I had somebody make notes for me because I wanted to, not to make this like an expose, but like.
This is when he finds out he's interviewing the wrong band. He's like,
wait, I thought you were the Vitos.
Originating as a busking duo, Troy and Brady.
oh, yeah. We're Troy and Brady.
Yes.
Okay. So I wasn't wrong.
No,
then,
you weren't
was I?
wrong. You weren't wrong. We called ourselves Looking California because of an old Chris Cornell song. But then everybody went, you don't look like you're from California. Nobody got it.
The next line is Feelin' Minnesota. And we felt there in Minnesota.
I know that song.
You know?
Well, that's what you should have called it, Feeling Minnesota.
Yeah, that's what people told us too.
That makes more sense.
When we got Connor, our drummer in the band, we thought, man,
Terrible.
it's a terrible name to have for like a drummer this good. We gotta get a better band name or he's not gonna want to play. And we came up with a bunch, and my mom actually was the one who was like, you know what would be rock and roll is if you're chasing the bear.
Does Chase a Bear have any other meaning, like other than just the plain?
Well, you know, like
meaning of
chasing
it?
the dragon.
Well, that's why I kind of asked. Is there some?
No, it's kind of just every other name we tried was taken.
Yeah.
There's always like people are copywriting their names nowadays. So there's a band with 200 followers in Idaho who had the name that we wanted. So we move on to the next one. And
there's actually 3 Chase the Bears out there that play country, but we decided we just don't care.
Is that right?
Yeah, we're like, well,
surprise, Danny.
well, we're just gonna keep
little
doing
label
this.
surprise.
They started after us, and they just do festivals. They're like little family bands.
Just change it to Chase the Bear X, and we're all good.
Yeah.
Verb the Animal is a good one.
It's pretty hard to find a name these days that isn't
Really is.
been used by somebody or isn't being used by somebody. And
I mean, there's also been such a pivot towards solo artists nowadays who are just going by their own name.
I think the name is less important than it's ever been because of the internet. It's like if people like something, your name could be a bunch of random letters and numbers, and they're still going to connect with it if it's authentic and great. And I keep noticing that where it's like, I don't know the names of half the freaking artists that I follow right now, but I love their albums. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I'll add something to my playlist.
Like I think
don't
one
know the name of the
that I
song.
really like is, I think they're called Couch, which is like, what the heck kind of name is that?
yeah,
But then the music blows you away. It's like, okay,
Don't
this
tell
is
the
rock
vice
and roll Beatles stuff. I like that.
so go back to Troy and Brady. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you living, and how did that all start, and how long ago, and all that stuff?
We were both guitar teachers in our hometown of Fort St. John.
The only ones, because there's
Yeah.
only 2 music stores, and we're the only guitar teacher at both of them.
Oh,
So-
you were both from Fort St. John.
Yeah.
And
okay.
our drummer and my brother, too.
Yeah, so 4
Okay.
or 6 of us are all the way up there.
Northern boys. We used to be a real bad redneck town, but we're told since the dispensary opened, there's people
have chilled out a little bit.
Not to
up
cut
there.
you off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We started jamming in my mom's place and just screaming in her basement constantly. And then we couldn't find anyone to fill out the band. So we actually moved to separate towns. He went to Kelowna and I went to Vancouver to be in a band with her now drummer Connor. And then one day I got a text from Troy saying, "Hey, I'm in Victoria." And I said, "Okay, great." And I quit my job that day and I went on a ferry and I started sleeping on his parents' floor for...
Yeah. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. He slept on a blow-up mattress. I slept on a couch next to him and we busked every day for like 6 months.
In Victoria.
Yeah. And then we had enough income from busking that we could afford to like move into a bigger,
So what would you
better
do? Like go
apartment.
down by the museum, the outdoor place? and
Government Street.
Go for the
Government
tourists?
Street. Yeah.
Government Street, the
Right for the
ferries.
jugular.
Ferry days, we'd have days where we had like $200, $300 in 3
nice.
hours.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of winter, you'd be making $50 for like a 6-hour day. So
Yeah.
Unless
it balanced
there was pity, like in the winter, we played
some
with
pity,
when
yeah.
it was raining. We were like, we got to go out there for the pity money,
Yeah.
and we played with a cellist and a female singer one time. And this person came up to us and gave us $400.
Yeah.
and it was like, boys, just go home.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is why we're here. This is perfect.
Talk about Fort St. John for a second. I got to be honest. I mean, I've been through most of BC, but I'll be damned. I'm not even sure I know where that is.
Next to Dawson Creek.
Northeast. Yeah. Northeast corner by Grand Prairie, Dawson Creek. It's the Peace River region.
Okay.
Very
And you know,
cool.
like,
Yeah.
you always want to escape your small town. But when I go back there now, fuck, man, people up there love rock and roll. Same with Alberta too. I found the Alberta
Yes.
crowds are so responsive to us.
Yes. Agreed.
Small
And-
towns love it in general.
We need to get out there.
Yeah, we do.
I'm sure at default, you guys must do really well out there, right?
We just came back from Alberta shows last weekend.
Oh, you do the
And the
Stampede?
weekend before, actually. So- and yeah, packed and slammed. And Calgary showed up like Calgary always shows up. Stampede.
You guys hear they're replacing the Saddle Dome, eh?
I've seen that. Yeah, those
They're
plans.
building a new, they want to be the 4th stop on the Canadian tour. Because, there's Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver.
Right.
They want Calgary. They're making big waves. I kind of hope they succeed, man.
So you played
Meanwhile,
Stampede?
America has 500
Yeah,
stops.
yeah. We did a tent show at the Stampede.
Oh.
Then we went up to Edmonton. We played with SDP and Weezer at a big festival up there.
Oh,
Nice.
Who
And then-
sings for STP now?
He's a guy named Jeff Goot. So he
Yeah.
was brand new to the band when we toured with him in 2018. We did all across the country, right?
Is he any good?
He
See what I did there?
I have to say he definitely is. Like if they weren't trying to get somebody who really could sing the same range, the same inflections, and like even move
Like
quite
in
similar,
Journey?
Oh, yeah.
right?
yeah.
Except for they're doing new music with Jeff. And
Yes,
I was
exactly.
really like smitten by his whole performance thing. But my takeaway was like, not as good as a writer. No offense, Jeff. You're amazing. I see
Wow.
this.
What's his Wayland was
But
a
like,
great writer.
Scott
Yeah.
was just like, how do you even, wow.
Heroin?
Yes.
I saw them perform in Vancouver at the Queen Elizabeth Theater.
Oh,
And it was
nice.
after he had been through his first OD and his
Oh.
first
Not so nice.
band that broke up, got back together. It was kind of like not a reunion tour, but it was kind of like he's back and we're back. It was so good. It was so good.
No doubt. No doubt.
So I think I'd have trouble seeing them now. I'm not sure that would work for
You know
me.
what? They still sound great, and Jeff really does fit in. Like if you're
Oh,
going like, oh, where's Scott? Then you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah,
if
but
you're
the
going kind of
DeLeo
with that
brothers
open
still,
mind-
it's them.
Oh, yeah.
totally.
And they're
Oh, yeah.
such an
Yeah.
important
They're
part.
such sweethearts too. I got to have dinner with them just while listening to the other acts, and
They're incredible. Yeah.
they're so funny. When they came off the stage, they nudged me and my brother, who are in our band, and they went, "Not so bad for a couple of old guys, right?"
Nice.
You know?
And it's the same drummer, the Eric
Yep,
something?
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just
they sound
massive
great.
sounding
Oh.
for a
Yeah.
three-piece.
They are massive.
I don't know how they
and
do
and
it.
they don't run tracks.
It was the
so
one
many
time
bands,
Yeah.
like
they
Led
just go out
Zeppelin
and-
made sense to me because I always wondered, how do you make 3 instruments sound so huge? Because nobody does it that way
Yeah.
these days.
Well, you
And
notice
then they
the
did it, and I was like, oh, whoa.
STP doesn't solo very much though, and I
Yeah.
do notice that. I can't stand when a 3-piece starts soloing. I'm like, okay, we're the rhythm track.
But
guys.
he's got like a mega boost though. Right?
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
10 dB boost, and he hits
Yeah,
that.
it
He'll
works
hit
on
that
like
for a
Since
shot
I've Been
before a
Loving
chorus,
You,
and
you
it just
know?
goes. Wow.
yeah.
So many cool dynamic things that band does.
Oh
right?
yeah,
They're just a true
Yeah.
live
They're
band.
off
We
the
actually
wall.
played with them in I think 2002 in California. So,
with the original,
obviously,
right.
with Scott and everybody, right? So, same three guys, but I mean, that was crazy. That was incredible to see.
Scott in his prime, pretty much.
Oh yeah, he was so on point.
02,
all over the stage.
So 02 would have been, and I should say, just to give a little background, and it's funny because we did a recent podcast with your label mates, the Vitos, and but it was Dave sitting where Danny's
my
sitting.
counterpart.
But it's funny because my relationship with Dave and Danny goes back to, I believe, 99.
Yep.
Oh,
which is insane. Were either of you alive in 99?
No,
yeah, I was 5.
Okay.
I was
Good.
3.
That makes me feel a little.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me feel a little less old. But our relationship goes back because Danny and Dave were the rhythm section, still are, of the band Default.
One of the best in the world too.
Oh, shucks.
Rhythm sections or
Oh,
bands?
yeah.
rhythm section and bands. But I've been lately, I've been really just streaming the first 2 albums like crazy again. And when I listen to the bass and drums, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand how these guys took the world.
We got
Right.
to see it in the recording space one time. Danny he never plays in front of us, and he hopped on the kit. And all I remember thinking is, man, he can hit that fucking snare.
Oh gosh.
Like he just hits it in the same spot.
It makes you flinch when
Yeah.
Danny hits the snare. Like that's one in a million drummers that can do that. That's the best.
I keep trying to slide our drummer Connor bigger sticks. I'm like, no, you're
You
not.
remember during the record, I was like, you hit those toms harder, hit those
Yeah.
fills harder. And he finally did. And he was like, oh, wow, that sounds great, right?
Yeah. Now it'll be like in our basement and it'll just be like,
And then
like,
he'll
oh
say
my
like,
God,
oh,
dude.
I'm tired. I'm like, get bigger sticks.
Yeah.
Bigger sticks, bigger
So,
sound.
well, that might be an important note to add is
What's that?
Dave and I, being the label people, how we work the label, of course, is I produce all the artists and record all the artists. So that's hence this conversation. And Dave handles all the visuals, doing the photo shoots, the music videos, the social media stuff. And so we split duties that way. And, and
there
it
are
works
rock
out
and roll
pretty good.
daddies.
So Dave doesn't do anything in the studio with you? Like you never?
Yeah,
he comes in and
hang out.
shoots
come do some
pictures.
shoots. Yep.
And on the last song, we were rewriting some lyrics and we were stuck on the bridge. We couldn't figure out the words.
That's right. He did.
And Dave was like, what about words feel like trees? And we're like, oh, Dave, damn it. We got to credit you now. So he actually has a lyric on our last song.
That
Just 'cause
weasel,
he
he weaseled
popped
in
in
on
his
your
head.
song.
Wait,
Yeah.
we didn't credit him though, right?
No, I guess we are now.
Yeah, it's on video now.
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lawyer in the room.
You're in trouble now. Yeah, for
Well, we'll give you 2 peanuts.
But it's just funny because and I think we were saying this a bit in that last podcast, with Dave here and the Vitos, it's just funny to, be at an age where you can even have known someone for 26 years.
Very true.
It's weird.
Right. It is. Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't even 26 when I
Dude,
met
that's
you.
more than half my life.
Yeah.
I've known-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Is this where we hug? Or do you want to just do a reach around?
Right. Right. Is that,
Reach around?
can we do that on?
Well, maybe
This is
not.
no rules. Whatever.
No rules.
No restrictions.
That was, kind of the genesis of 604 Records. It wasn't 604. You guys were not on 604, but when Chad and I did a little deal with you guys to try and get you signed, and then we were successful and got you signed. I mean, it was such a
And you helped us push a platinum record. So
true. But it was such a profound experience, I think, for all of us, just in different sorts of ways. I mean, for you guys, you went from Walnut Grove to
in a garage. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
to playing the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City.
And selling it out.
Now, I got to
selling it
ask.
out.
Amazingly enough.
So I know Chad had written for other bands before. Were you guys his first band where he was really
He had worked with
stretching
other
out?
bands. And in fact, even before Default, I was playing drums on stuff that Chad and Joey were recording.
Oh.
They would call me.
so-
if
Was
I
there
could play
anyone
real
else
quick.
notable that broke through Default?
Well,
before
you know
guys?
what? Chad's always been, I think one thing Chad and I have in common, maybe it's part of the reason it's been a good partnership all these years, is we're both very workaholic type of people.
Right.
He a little bit less so now. I think he's learned to relax.
He's earned
Well, he's definitely.
I have not learned to relax at all. But at that time, they would come off the road and it was before How You Remind Me, the stuff with you happened, but after the State. So they had come off the road, and, they were starting to get a name for themselves. They were not a household name. They were not huge at all, but people were starting to know who they were. And so they'd come, Roadrunner would have them on the road for like 8 months. They'd come off the road. The other 3 guys would disappear into their domestic lives.
Of course.
And Chad's idea of vacation was, I'm going to produce a bunch of bands. So, I was I don't know, I'm making him sound stupid because he's not. I'm going to produce a bunch of bands. Sorry, Chad. He doesn't talk like that.
No, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So I would get the phone call. Hey, buddy, I'm producing, such and such band. Can you do up some quick paper? I was his lawyer. Hey, if they get signed, I get, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, man, I'll do it up. But the truth is, like, nothing ever worked out. Like, we do all these bands and, I'd never hear about it again.
Well, in my hometown, we would hear handfuls and handfuls of like new songs that sounded almost adjacent to Nickelback.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like,
on the radio,
all these
you
bands
get all these
coming up that
imitators.
sound this way. And then what happens is their huge hits start coming because they kind of created their own wave with that.
Yeah.
So like all those other bands fell into obscurity, but I still think to this day it's so genius that he went and did.
He kind of created a genre.
He set himself up for his own wave, really.
Yeah,
it's like, how do you do that?
You're very right about that in a lot of different ways. Like, so one of the bands we did paperwork on was for a band called Shock the Day.
Yeah.
Chad said, hey man, I can't remember what the deal was. If they get signed, I get, whatever. And, we did up the paper and as usual, never heard another word about it. And he called me one night and he said, hey man, what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting in my office. He said, remember that band Shock the Day? I said, yeah. He said, well, they changed their name to Default and they got a new singer.
No way.
And I hear he's real good looking. And, you remember the stupidest shit? Like, what was that, 26 years ago? And I remember that I said, they're playing at Studebaker's tonight. You want to go? I said, yeah, shit, why not? So got in my car, met Chad at Studebaker's. And I believe, and I could be wrong, and it's one of those things where I've said this so many times that I'm almost trying to make it true, even if it's not. I think that may have been Dallas's first public performance. If it wasn't, it was close.
It would have been definitely one of the first.
Because what I remember is he had trouble facing the audience. Mm-hmm. He spent half the night faced either backwards or to the side.
Wow.
He was so nervous.
Like Jim Morrison.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was, and I remember Chad and I sat there kind of going, why is he not facing the crowd? But otherwise, this band's really fucking good.
Was Dave already doing his theatrics and stuff? Because Dave's amazing live.
I think at that point, it was still Dwayne,
nervous.
right?
Oh, you're right. It wasn't even Dave.
Oh, no, Dave.
Dave joined like 6 months after we formed.
Correct.
Before getting signed and everything else.
He was in a band called
Goya.
And
did they have the sound then? Like
they did. And the other thing about them was that as strange as it was that Dallas was so nervous, it wasn't strange. He was just nervous.
Yeah.
Very first show I ever saw him play, and his pitch was fucking perfect, which it has remained. I mean, I don't know if I've ever worked with anybody who was so consistently on target as far as pitch goes. Mm-hmm. Incredible singer. And I don't know how much you remember about that night. I remember quite a bit. Like, I remember us then all sitting down, because Chad and I, by the time the set was over, Chad and I were like, we're going to do something with these guys. And Chad got into full Chad mode. And it was like, come here, guys, we're going to, and I think some of your parents were there.
I'm sure my dad was there, yeah.
And we sort of pulled you aside and when I think we got some private place in the back, and Chad's like, we want to do something with you. Jonathan's going to put some paper together. And I did. And it was a very simple deal. I think basically if we got you a deal, we got a certain percentage of the upfront advance. And I'll be damned, we got him a deal. And Chad was back off on tour pretty quick after that. Like they were starting to tour again. So that was largely me, like working with them.
Definitely, yep.
And I think Jennifer, who you just heard, my wife, I remember going to Pacific Center with either all of you or a couple of you to help you pick clothing.
Yeah, it was all of us. It was always,
Right.
Weird question.
Yeah.
Have you known Danny longer than your wife?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No, okay.
I've known my wife for over 30 years.
Like
I've known
20-something
her.
years is a long time.
Wait, I got to ask a question about the show real quick.
Yeah.
So Danny, I never asked you this before. Were you already playing post-grunge, kind of that 2000 sound before you met Chad, or did he totally change your sound?
Like, was it less? I mean,
how many of those songs would have been Shock the Day songs?
Oh, none of them.
Okay.
We left everything. What Jeremy and I essentially went with Dwayne, but Jeremy and I left that band to start the new one because
But you had that kind of heavy, drop D, not quite metal sound already.
Totally, yeah. It was all still like similarly influenced.
Would you have played that night any of the songs that were on the first record?
I'm sure. Yep. So they would have been way different because we hadn't worked with Chad yet, and Chad really obviously brought the songwriting up, right?
Yeah.
To that next level.
So
we would have had a basic Deny. We wouldn't have had Wasting yet. And a bunch of the other songs
long
from the
ago.
record,
It's
right?
so crazy. I mean, the whole thing's so crazy. So we set up a bunch of showcases.
Yep.
And we had a bunch of labels come out. Like, it wasn't just the TVT. I mean, Roadrunner came and saw you. I think Atlantic may have come and seen you.
Columbia, Interscope.
Is that show by show, or did you do like one big showcase?
We did a few of each. Like,
Yeah.
I remember showcasing you at the what was it? It's long gone, but it was in Gastown.
Brickyard.
Thank you. At the Brickyard. And I remember that night, there was Roadrunner, there was Atlantic. That might have even been Columbia that night as well.
I'm pretty sure didn't Ron sleep through the show? And then he came to my house the next day.
Wow, I don't remember that, but you know what? That's
it was either Ron or it was Lenny from TBT. It was one or the other.
Well, I remember.
Yeah, wake the fuck up, Ron.
House.
Yeah,
with Lenny.
Yes.
And Chad.
Yeah.
And you guys played right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an amazing experience for a million reasons. Not, I mean, for them, obviously, for us as well. I mean, Chad and I were so young and so inexperienced.
Did you feel like you knew something was happening, like a bigger sound, a bigger genre? Because it's almost like the grunge movement, looking back on it. You really guys...
I don't think that really kicked in until Theory of a Dead Man for me. I think at that point,
a couple
it was
bands in,
a different situation.
Right. When like other bands are getting super huge on sound.
Well, but the thing is also is that when, like, there was a moment in time in 2001 where, like, stuff that Chad and I had worked together on, and again, just to be clear, I was not involved in the creative stuff. I was just the business guy and the promo guy, so to speak.
Yeah.
But stuff we had worked on together occupied, I believe, 4 spots in the US top 10.
Whoa.
Wasting My Time.
Yeah.
How You Remind Me.
Of course.
Hero, Spider-Man song.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And,
Really?
and then the second single off of Nickelback, Too Bad.
Too Bad, yep.
So there was a moment there where, maybe it's top 15, but like, and that's when the phone started to ring. And like people, and this sort of goes to your question, people were kind of looking at Chad and I like we were the godfathers of some neo-grunge movement happening in Vancouver.
And that's what I was going to say. You said you weren't involved in the creative side. I guess my question would be, did you ever go to a show like Defaults and say to Chad, like, I'm sorry, man, I just don't see it? Like, did you value your input in that way? Or did you always kind of trust his musical ear?
Chad and I have always been good to respect each other's opinions. We don't always agree.
Right.
We often agree. I'd say we agree more often than not.
Right.
But I mean, I'm a rock guy. I love rock. Chad loves rock, but I love a lot of other stuff too. And so does Chad. But I think my palate's maybe a little bit broader, and that's not a diss on him at all.
Right.
I just think the stuff I like that just doesn't necessarily appeal to him. Like I listen to a lot of classical music.
Oh, I
listen to a lot of ambient music. I don't think that's really shit that Chad enjoys. And I mean, the best example I can give you of this is I signed a band, one of the first bands 604 signed, called The Organ. And it did really well. And it was 4 women. And they sort of sounded like a female version of the Smiths.
Okay.
And I remember sending the demos to Chad, and Chad made some comment like, the songwriting's pretty good, but like, don't they want to sound like they can play their instruments? And he wasn't being funny. Like, he really didn't, it wasn't an aesthetic that he was familiar with, that kind of sloppy, like Pavement, if you know that band, like that kind of sloppy, because Chad's a little more
now.
like,
Chad's very tight.
Yeah. And he's very, and listen, that's worked for him.
He likes a Mutt Lange kind of record.
It's got to be perfect.
He played Metallica a lot growing up too, right? Like he's a metalhead, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he grew up, I remember him telling me like, he grew up on Burton Cummings, Metallica, and Hank Williams. which in a weird kind of way explains Nickelback.
Rockstar. Rockstar.
Yeah. I mean, it really kind of does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of the genesis of 604, because at that point I was kind of like, well, shit, like that was the first thing we had done outside of Nickelback that worked. And all of a sudden my brain, because remember, I was a criminal lawyer. I fell into this shit by accident. So it wasn't like I was learning as I was going.
Yeah.
But my brain went off and I went, God damn it, next time. You're lucky, because I was like, next time we're going to like sign a production agreement. And, you know, that way we would have been shopping 4 default records, not just one. Because we did okay. I think Chad and I maybe made 25 grand in total, but that was like a year's work.
Yeah.
So I think Chad bought his first car with that money.
The Stealth.
Yeah, the Stealth, exactly. And, you know, to us, who neither of us came from money, we were both like, holy shit, we made $12,000.
Well, from a fan's perspective,
Yeah.
it would be cool if you two did the next default record.
Hey, there you go.
Bring it full circle.
Bring it
I don't
full
like how the
circle.
Beatles go back to George
Dallas
Martin
anymore. I don't think I can afford Dallas. It's outside my spending range at this point. That would actually be great, because of course Dallas ended up as a 604 artist for 4 albums. Like
his country stuff's amazing. I actually didn't connect the dots that Dallas Smith was the singer of Default, because I didn't.
I didn't for a long time either. Yeah.
And then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. The guy with all those country hits is singing. Whoa, like talk about versatile. He's one of my favorite singers for sure.
Yeah,
Jonathan, when you said you were learning as you go, nowadays I imagine Chad's a little less involved with the label, right? Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. But like back then, did you ever, like, you weren't a musician, could you see the potential in a band that he was showing you, even if they weren't all there? Because I know that's something I think regular fans struggle with more. Like, I can look at a band and say that singer is going to be incredible in a year with the right circumstances.
I get that question a lot, and I don't have a good answer, unfortunately. Like, I think I've always been a real gut feeling sort of person, and I often go by my gut feeling. I probably, not to toot my own horn, but I probably have a better A&R record than anybody in this country, even including major labels. And boy, I wish I knew how I did it. I haven't got a fucking clue. I just know what I like. And I guess as it turns out, oftentimes if I like something, a lot of the public likes it too. But I never know that.
But you're not microanalyzing it, like, oh, their look is wrong.
It is
this
such a gut feeling
wrong.
thing.
Yeah.
The first time I met Nickelback, they needed a lawyer. And they had a management agreement from Clyde and Terry. And they, rest in peace, Clyde.
Yep.
I miss him. You know, so they needed a lawyer, and they came into my office, and you know, Chad put his feet up on my desk, which I was like, dude, what are you doing? And so many things.
Oh, we're allowed to do that? Oh,
that's right. Yeah. So many things that occurred and unfolded over the next 30 years kind of all happened at that very first meeting. They got into a fight about publishing. At that first meeting.
Really?
Ryan Peake got so mad as like the veins in his neck were sticking out. You know, and I remember to this day, they left me with a burned CD that I still have, which were demos of The State, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think they had just released Curb. And I remember my wife's a lawyer as well. We still practice law together. And I walked into my wife's office with this CD, this Nickelback CD. I was like, I hope I like the music, because there's something about that fucking guy. So gut feeling. Like I just hadn't even heard a note of music. And yet there was something
that's
larger
how the
than
best
life.
Songs are written. Right. You know?
Right. Exactly right.
Well, do you think you need that does someone larger than life need to be in the band for the band to work too? Like, you hadn't even heard the music, but there was something about Chad that felt like a rock star.
I think lots of different things can work. I don't think there's any one thing that works. I think that different bands, because if I look at the bands that we've had success with over time, it's usually about a song.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a song that opens up a door.
Danny says that constantly. He's just like, you just got to keep
we're one song away.
One song away.
Well, but it's true. I mean, it's both the beauty of this business and the thing that's hard about this business.
I've heard before, you're only as good as your last song or your last show.
And listen, one song can be life altering, which is to me what's amazing. I mean, you know, most obvious example for me is Call Me Maybe, which listen, had Call Me Maybe not happened, we wouldn't be sitting in this beautiful studio right now.
Wow.
Like, Call Me Maybe, this is the house that Call Me Maybe built. I mean, it's just kind of the truth.
Carly.
But I mean, thanks Carly and Josh Ramsey
heard
from Mariana
Josh,
Stretch, who produced it and co-wrote it.
Really? I heard Carly brought it.
And Tavish Crow from her band who co-wrote it.
Josh Ramsey? Wow.
No, I heard,
that's so unsuspecting.
I heard when Carly brought Call Me Baby to Josh, it was like an acoustic song.
True. I still have the demo somewhere.
It was just like that. And Josh heard all this other stuff around
He's such a rock and roller that really catches me by surprise.
He's
awesome.
But
the chorus was the verse.
What?
Whoa.
Hey, I just met you wasn't the chorus.
Really?
And
Carly.
Josh, I think, was the one who kind of went, what the fuck? That's not a verse. That's a goddamn chorus if I ever heard one.
We can actually have reversing everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Out, right?
Danny, what you doing next week?
Yeah, exactly. But it is the thing about the business I love more than anything is that I, maybe have a tendency to romanticize it, but I mean, one song can change your fucking life. Wow. It's craziness.
Hearing that from you is like reaffirming.
We've been talking.
You hear it from a lot of people, but then to hear it from someone whose life has been changed.
Every time I do a speaking engagement,
like
every time I'm asked to speak somewhere, I get the same goddamn questions, and one of them is always like, "How important is it to network?" I was like, "It's not important." They're like, "Well, what do you mean it's not important?" I said, "Go write a fucking song, man. All you need to know is one person if you have a great song. Great song plus one person who knows anybody in the business, and there you go. Wow. You could know 800 people in the business. You could know every fucking label president in North America, and if you're peddling a shitty song, it's not going to matter."
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know why people don't quite I don't know why that doesn't sink in with everybody, but it's like, people are like, what should I do if I want to go write? Mm-hmm. Okay, then what? Write some more. Then what? Write some more.
Yes.
Everyone's inundated by all these YouTube videos of here's your 5 steps to put your marketing plan together. You don't need to tour.
We always just say to ourselves, like, the reason the song didn't blow up is because there was something missing. So you just got to move on.
Yeah.
But I do think nowadays, even more, in my opinion, songs and your social media campaigns have to be like hand in hand. And I kind of want to just write 10 songs in December and then release one a month. Because I don't really see the point in releasing.
Well, if you have a great
albums.
song, you still need a way to get it into people's ears.
Yeah,
and
but
that's where social media comes in.
Yeah. Exactly. And if you're releasing it on an album, you can only push so many singles for Spotify playlist considerations, right? Mm-hmm. So it's better to just release them as singles, so everyone gets playlist
until you have an audience
consideration
for an album,
right?
Really, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. And even now, I'm not even sure who that audience is. I mean, it's become such a strange.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rephrase that. It's just changed a lot.
No, it's strange. It's strange. Everybody's listening to everything at the same time. I realized last week that I saw both moments where all this started happening.
Yeah.
Like when Blockbuster went out of business, we should have known we were screwed.
Yep.
And then when the iPod was invented and every kid on the playground has every song instantly downloaded to their hands, like the kids these days don't know what a CD is, right? So it's like, whoa, what are we doing?
In a way, it's come back full circle because before the Beatles,
you can release anything though. The
Beatles, people were just releasing singles. Like Elvis Presley was releasing A and B sides on 45.
Right. CCR's first record was 20 hits that they had.
And then the 60s kind of sold us this idea that you have to release 12 songs at once, and a lot of the songs weren't very good.
Filler, right?
Yeah. Filler track. But it was still, I mean, I thought when Spotify contacted me before it became commercially available, they sort of seeded out the app to a bunch of, influential people in the music business.
Okay.
And so I had Spotify maybe a year before it was commercially available.
Oh, no way.
Because it was already available all over the world. Canada was one of the last countries to get Spotify.
Really?
And I'll never forget, I was sitting in this building in my office and I started to fuck around with Spotify and I ran around the office saying, this is the future.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now.
So you guys were prepared.
I wouldn't know if I was prepared, but I knew right away.
But you knew, kind of like seeing Google for the first time.
I was just like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Absolutely.
It's so convenient.
Absolutely.
Every song I'd ever want to have is at my fingertips. Yeah. This is it. This is now. And for a second, everything. I was like, well, but people like a physical, tangible. Well, that sure went out the fucking window.
Yeah, it did. It did. People used to play shows to make records, but now they make records to play shows.
Right.
Is what it kind of looks
There's
like.
that too.
And to sell t-shirts
as well.
Because of that. But I like that because then you can release stuff and you don't necessarily have to do as much buildup because you can back it up later. Like, here's the song right now.
Right.
And that's awesome to be able to have that ability.
A frustrating part about Spotify for me, because I'm like into programming, is Spotify it has the worst deal for artists, in case you listening at home, you don't know that. Compared to a lot of them, like Tidal is so much
guess
better.
those editorial playlists goodbye.
So are you saying that like financially
it doesn't pay as well as some of the other platforms, you know? Like, it's not the worst. It's not the worst.
I don't disagree. And listen, do I wish Spotify paid more? Of course I wish Spotify.
But it has the best user interface. And that's one of the reasons it's the most successful, is because it's just so easy to use.
Well, and the algorithm's really great too.
Which is
the algorithm's fantastic.
Apple, who had made billions of dollars of becoming one of the biggest corporations in the world based on intuitive products, really fucked that up.
I know. Like,
hang on. Going back to my thought about the iPod killing all this, you can look back on this. The Beatles sued Apple when they first came out into the music industry, and they said, okay, we won't enter the music space. And then Apple came out with iTunes after that. So it's kind of like the Beatles were our last hope for what we once knew.
Well, Metallica tried
with
Napster.
Yeah,
too.
But
That
Beatles
was a big one.
and
Lars was
iTunes,
right. Okay, we can say that now. It's been enough time. Lars was right. People were getting
but here's
ripped
the
off.
thing I will say, and again, I'm not disagreeing that I wish Spotify paid more, and I think they should. But here's the one thing I will say that gets lost, I think, in this conversation. When we first started in the business, when Danny and I first started in the business, most people were broke as well. Like, it's not
Very
like
true.
Everybody looks back, oh, it's the golden age. Bullshit. Most bands did not make any money. Most bands broke up because they couldn't make a living.
And radio played a lot less songs than the amount of songs on Spotify.
So it really like, people are like, oh man, I got a check from Spotify for like, $12, man. It's fucking bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's bullshit. But I guess really the problem is nobody's streaming your music. Like, if there was a demand for your music, you would have made more than $12. Like, we had a big hit with that Coleman Hell song, Two Heads. And we eventually signed it to Columbia Records. But for the first 6 months, it was just us on Spotify. You can make a lot of money on Spotify.
I bet.
If you have a hit.
That's fair.
Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't pay more. They should.
The thing is, it's not like,
forget that. It's like, listen, you have to create a demand for your fucking music.
And the other half of it is that, like, they push your music for free.
Yeah.
When else has that existed?
They can. Yeah. They throw it on the right playlist.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be totally reworked. We're just looking for a little increase if we can. What are they like to deal with? Do you deal with the company at all?
All the time.
Yeah. What do they like to deal with on the ground?
604 excluded digital. We've never given up digital rights on any of our deals.
Nice.
Wow. Ever. Which really defined our company in many, many ways. But yes, we have great relationships with all the streaming services. And I mean, I don't know. It's in a weird kind of way, they've become like the new radio. So it's like in the old days, you're, spending all this time sucking, radio dick. And now I spend all time sucking Spotify dick.
Is there differences you'd say between dealing with radio and dealing with Spotify?
It's surprisingly similar.
Okay.
Huh.
It's a little less smarmy.
Oh.
Like radio was always a little bit like gross.
Yeah.
Like,
how so?
Well, payola and weird sexual.
I've ran into lots of radio trackers like asking for tens of thousands, so I could see that.
It was seedy.
Yeah.
It was.
Radio was seedier.
So you'd say that like streaming's a bit more honest. You
had to deal with people who made you want to shower. Like, it was just like,
yeah, very true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, shit.
A little bit.
So Spotify's kind of like a breath of fresh air, I guess.
In some ways it is.
Yeah.
In some ways it is.
And I imagine
it isn't.
the communication must be faster with Spotify, right? Like, they're a tech company. They have to be answering their emails a little more frequently than some of those radio guys who message you back a month later.
Yes and
like,
no.
Yeah, come on in.
They also know, they're the power now and they know it. Everybody did things the exact same way. You would make an entire album, fuck this single at a time. You would make a whole album. You would film a usually very expensive music video because you wanted to be able to compete on Much or on MTV. And you'd throw it out there. Here we go. Did it work? Oh, it didn't work. Next. That's how it was, man. Like you didn't get a lot of second chances back then.
That's
so
still how the movie
Nickelback
industry
were lucky
is,
you
too.
had and talented, but you were lucky that your first thing you put out worked.
Yep.
and then you can maybe have a career. Now there's 8 million ways to be discovered. Radio still works, but it doesn't have the impact that it used to have because people aren't listening as much.
Right.
And the only evidence you need to see to that is every week now people are getting fired from, Chorus has let go so many people. They all have. Bell closed down a bunch of stations. It doesn't make revenue for them anymore. Because people don't listen as much anymore. So
well, they listen in a different way. I was thinking about it on the drive here, like the podcast we're filming right now.
Yeah.
People scour the internet.
It's kind of like, this is the new radio, I guess.
YouTube.
So they're looking for things to listen. It's just a matter of like connecting those dots in a new way.
And I say that all the time. Connecting the dots is a phrase I use in this building often.
Yeah.
Because that's the question. It's like, how do you connect the dots with the public?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, who do we think the audience is? That's always my first question when we sign a band. Who's the fucking audience?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 40-something soccer moms. Okay, how the hell do we reach them? Well, we know soccer moms like Lululemon. Maybe we could do something. Like, you sort of got to think backwards from the audience to sort of figure out how to reach that audience.
That is really clever.
It's just sort of the way it works now.
Yeah.
Because again, there isn't one route anymore. There's
Well, I guess that's
multiple.
kind of on what I was saying before, is that you make a record to play.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and like when the Beatles came out, what's the name of it? Ed Sullivan Show? It was one of 3 channels on TV.
Yeah.
So of course they blew up. There was one avenue where everyone was watching the same bands every week.
Yeah. Well, that's
now
right.
you're seeing bands everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think there's good things and bad things about it, because like there are things I miss about the old days of that, because at least if you got your record deal and you got your shot at radio, if you were good, you really did have a good chance because everybody listened to the radio and they weren't listening to a million different things. Right. Now it's a bit harder. Like in a way it's a bit harder because there's such an overwhelming amount of stuff out there.
Yeah, everybody's on shuffle, so like they don't really
I don't even know
how to listen to an album
on fucking YouTube when there's 8 gazillion videos up there. We've put out 2 songs so far in this cycle, right?
3.
4.
4
4
in this new
Four.
cycle.
What the
Since
fuck?
Why am
record,
I getting
yeah.
confused?
Woo!
Yeah, the
Okay, I'm going to
fourth
shut up then and let you tell us.
2 good
then,
ones.
fourth
because
one just came out.
Okay, that's
worth
why I got
stealing.
confused.
It was, would you call it a ballad?
What's coming next then? That's what I'd like to hear.
We got a Sum 41 kind of ish song. Sum 42.
Demons is a Sum 41?
I mean, that's what Connor says on stage. I don't really know about that.
I don't know. Yeah, it's actually kind of, it's a pretty cool song. So since the record, because obviously we put the record out in beginning of 2023, but the single started to come out end of 2022.
Right.
After the record push, I think we pushed 3 singles before dropping the record, and then 2 more, and then, pushed the record as best we could, right?
Yeah.
And then we got together for another batch of 5 tunes that we smashed out.
Yeah.
Right.
When did we do those? Last year.
Last year, yeah. And we were just looking at how people were going skip, skip, save. Okay, well, maybe we should just release songs that way.
Yeah.
And what we're noticing, 4th song in, all the numbers are like flying colors better than the album.
Oh,
we put
nice.
out.
Yeah.
So if we keep going, we're noticing like more and more people showing up to each song. So it's like,
and now we can bundle it up and sell it as an EP at a show.
What do you think? I mean, I'm curious. What do you think explains that?
Well,
you have a theory?
I do. It goes back to the iPod on the playground and everybody having 10,000 songs. And instead of listening to albums, they're putting together playlists at 5 years old. And now everybody's listening to things on shuffle. Like even my own band, we don't listen to records in the car. We put it on the shuffle, and it's better than the radio. And I think because of that, people aren't used to like sitting down and listening to a body of work anymore. I think they're like, oh, my friend put a song out and I want to listen to it. Oh, this is cool. I can get behind that. I'll save it. Or it comes on as a cool song and they go, oh, that's cool. I'll save that and throw it in one of my playlists or in one of my mixes or stuff like that. But I don't think, I could be wrong, let the internet decide, but I don't think people are going after albums like they used to.
There's clearly not.
And I think it comes from people listening to
fuck.
everything. Because I'm huge on records. I have a mountain of vinyl and a record player.
I'm a huge record fan.
I love sitting down.
But you know what? If I'm
listening,
really honest about it.
I listen to the shuffle now.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the same thing.
And I'm like, what's becoming of me? I'm like, oh, this makes sense. I feel like I'm catching up.
Listen, I'm a kid of the 70s. I mean, that's when I discovered music. Although it is funny, right? Because I mean, I fell in love with music on AM radio, not FM.
Wow.
AM. So you want to know anything about one-hit wonders, Canadian AM? That's my expertise. But certainly as I got older, I got into the album thing.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
love albums.
Oh man.
But I have to be honest
My
about
favorite
it.
medium
I
still.
rarely listen to an album
I know.
anymore from start to finish.
It's
That's the only
crazy.
thing
I
I
used to
listen
be
to.
like hours and hours all day. Do you listen to records?
I do. I
Hipster? No,
I only listen to music in my old age now when I'm doing something. So like if I'm doing the dishes,
Yeah.
I throw
Yeah.
on an album.
And obviously,
You know,
if you're listening to
'cause-
vinyl, you kind of have to listen to
Yeah,
the
exactly.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, it's just interesting to me because instead, what I'll do. So take I'm trying to think of an artist that this would apply to. I like Tame Impala. There's a band out
Hell
there.
yeah.
the same, our keyboardist has the same name,
Kevin
Kevin
Parker.
Parker.
Oh,
It's actually the same guy.
funny.
Is
but-
that
check out our band.
But
But
the
I've never
funny thing
seen him in
is,
the
like,
same room.
I don't listen to any one particular album start to finish.
Right.
I have my own playlist that I curated. And
Yeah.
I think
True.
that's what so it's almost like, it's kind of like an album, but it's kind of like my own greatest hits that I've created.
Yeah.
And that tends to be what I listen to more than anything else.
And that's exactly. I hear that from other people. And
Yeah.
that's why I believe you can put things out and back it up later, because essentially you're creating Wonderland for Alice to fall down later.
I mean,
Right? So to have
Well,
to
what
build the
Jonathan's-
catalog instead of just promote the catalog, I think is more effective.
what Jonathan's doing is basically what I always said is like AC/DC has one good song on a lot of their post Back in Black albums. But it's a great
do?
song.
Yes, it is.
You're basically just trying to get one song per album to put
Yeah.
on a set list
Yeah.
to throw on a show live.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're doing at home. We're taking those 12 good songs and being like, okay, here's my AC/DC list.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to make one for the next band.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I never go
Yeah.
looking for albums on Spotify now. I just
Yeah.
go to my playlist
Yeah.
of whatever band, from the Beatles to
Yeah.
whoever.
So
And
from,
I'm
from
sure
an artist
yours has
perspective,
B-sides. Like, I love a good B-side.
Me
when I
too.
Yeah.
find one.
Absolutely.
But no one ever agrees on what the great
Yeah.
B-sides
Oh, no.
are.
no. So from like the artist perspective, I think it's just better to build the catalog for that reason,
Yes.
Mhm.
because then people can pick what they want.
Mhm.
Because even with our own stuff, like we thought on the record, Hurtin' was going to do really well, and We're Stealing's going to do really well, and then it's the songs that we don't even like that are doing really well.
and
There's
what,
still,
we
there's
like
still
'em
great
all,
songs
but-
too, and I've said this to you guys before. Let me know if you agree. But I mean, I think the big difference with streaming, like you were saying, you're building that catalog,
yeah,
and it's not like radio where you release a single. If it doesn't make it, it's not on the playlist anymore.
Yeah.
right.
It's like it's there forever.
It
and
lingers.
really can blow up at any time.
oh yeah.
true.
When the Beaches
True.
got Plain
Yes,
Bread,
absolutely.
their whole catalog
Of
ended up in the
course.
top 10.
Exploded. Yeah.
And it was like,
course.
what's happening? Like,
Mhm.
obviously, everyone loves that song.
But I
enough
will
that they're
say-
checking it all
Yeah.
out.
Comparing how we wrote these 5 to the album, what I like more about the single approach is now every song we write, we're all in on that one song at that one time.
Mhm.
And then the next one sounds completely different than
Yeah.
the one before.
And you can
And
give
when
each
we wrote the
single
album, we ended up
album
writing
attention.
a bunch together.
Right.
And there were some that sounded kind of the same. And I'm like, this is just a worse version of this other
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
But we're going to throw it on there because
Yeah.
But
it's
what
an
you
album.
just said is
Yeah.
important because, like, the thing is, in the old days, when you would just release you'd put out a single to radio, then you'd follow it with an album.
And there's all your marketing, right?
And that's
Yeah.
it. It's over at that point.
Yeah.
Like, if it worked, great. If it didn't, you're fucked.
yeah.
Yes.
But
Whereas
do that
now,
12 times.
Every song is a new opportunity. Every song is a new chance to promote.
Yep.
And it only takes one.
and it only takes one.
Now it's easy to say, hard to do, but, it only takes one.
Well, it sounds like easy to say, almost fluke to do, not necessarily hard to do.
And the other thing is
Yeah.
like,
I guess there's some truth to that.
when you're doing it one at a time, you have something to post about on social media for the next month. It is so hard thinking up 30 days of content.
Yeah.
We've
yeah.
been really working on our game where we're posting every day now.
and everything.
And having a new song just makes it so much easier.
yeah.
Because we
And
have something
things
to
move
push.
so fast. It's great to be back in people's
Yes.
faces,
When
right?
you're dropping
Yeah.
an album, it's like, okay, we promoted that for 3 months.
yeah.
I guess we could promote it for a whole year,
Yeah.
but are people going to get sick of it? Should we pivot? And then our social media just ended up going dead for a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's good to be in the stream of things, I think, because like
So-
100,000 songs are being released a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you think
isn't
about
it?
that, that's 100,000 songs with 100 videos behind them every day.
Yeah.
Can we,
And it's
can we
like, that's
explain
the flow,
the
right?
Can we explain the dynamic of Rock is Dead and 604 and what
Sure.
you guys actually do for us? Maybe Danny can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dave and I sort of had the concept of the label and wanted to kind of get everything really shiny before
Yeah.
showing anybody, right? So we recorded, both you guys and the Vitos. We had music videos done. We had the website built. We had everything.
Yep.
And then obviously the first person I thought of was let's call Jonathan and see what he thinks, right?
Like, yeah.
And so that's was kind of our plan to hit him with, a really, the burger and the box and the logo and everything, right?
Yeah.
So and from there, yeah, we talked about a distribution deal, essentially an enhanced distribution deal.
Yeah.
Whereas and I researched this a lot too. A lot of label services companies, as they're called, they'll be like, yeah, we'll give you some marketing tips and we'll upload your songs.
They don't do anything.
Nothing. And for, whatever high percentage, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I knew a little bit about it, and what John offered to us, he's like, listen, I think I really want, well, I don't have to, I can let you speak for yourself, I guess, but.
Well, I mean, listen, we don't do a lot of those types of deals, to be honest. 604, we've done this a few times.
Was it just because of the friendship?
No, I mean, certainly that played into it. I think
that was the foot in the door, right?
Yeah, it's more than that.
Did you still have to pitch it, Danny? Like, did you have your proper?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't believe in it. But I mean, the thing is that there is a real value in business to working with people who you already know. There's a real value, especially people you know and love. And I mean, I've known these guys forever. And, that there's a value to that. Like, it's like, I know the entity I'm dealing with. I believe in what they're doing. And I know them. Yeah. Like, that makes such a difference than doing a deal with somebody you don't really know, and then you end up learning all sorts of weird shit. I already knew the weird shit. Shit. I knew it all, like, long before we did the deal.
Namely, you knew we were stubborn enough to still be here 20 years later and still working hard at it.
And I love rock at a time when rock is struggling in the world. And I mean, it's making a bit of a comeback, but I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. And I liked being able to keep our hands in the world of rock. Yes. That meant a lot to me to be able to do that. Because, Theory of a Dead Man was on our label for a long time. When they finished their final delivery to us, they called me and said, we're going to sign a giant worldwide deal. And listen, God bless you. I was disappointed, but I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, how can I begrudge them? And I own a catalog of like 7 albums or something so I was fine with that. But I think that happened right around the same time that Danny and Dave approached. I'm like, you know what? I love the thought of us being able to stay in the world of rock. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think like what other rock do we have even on 604 anymore? And I don't think we have any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is, that's not true. Freeze the Fall.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. That's the new one you signed, right? From the Interior?
Yes, from Kelowna.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I saw some of their stuff early on.
Yeah, they're great. They're like, and they're pretty hardcore. Like that's like rock.
It's like almost like a female-fronted silver chair or something harder or something like that.
Heavy.
Right?
Yeah, and they're in high school, right? So
that's awesome.
It's kind of nuts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're super
Kids.
young.
Okay.
But that's that's been a ton of fun. And like I said, it's important to me to keep our hands in that.
Yeah.
I'm less involved in the day-to-day of the signing stuff these days, though. Like, and it's funny, we had a big company meeting yesterday, like everybody. Toronto office zoomed in, whole Vancouver staff was here. Kessie, who's the general manager of the label, she is actually based in Victoria, but she's in town. And, I kind of told the staff that. I said, it's time for you young people to step the fuck up here. Like, I can't be the guy signing the bands all the time. I'm fucking 60, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I still like it. It's not like, because I'm 60, I shouldn't.
Well, it's going to come across your desk, I would assume.
Absolutely. But it's like, I need to sign stuff that my kids like.
Yeah.
And I think rock was big enough that I think it's going to be like blues and metal where it falls into a niche. It had its peak, but it's still going to sell out the Commodore.
Where is the
if you're selling out the Commodore, you're not struggling in life.
Right.
You might not be a multimillionaire anymore.
Well, Default just came back from a handful of really good bands, shows. What's happened with rock?
There's a bit of a resurgence, but I was going to say, like, for new acts, where is that angsty rock band? Where's Nirvana? Where's Rage Against the Machine? Where's that band that makes you go, "Arr"?
It's scary.
If you're out there, please call me. Please call me.
Scary to be political nowadays, Danny.
There's not a lot of them.
It's scary to be political.
I think hopefully music's going to, rock music.
My kids are into hip hop, man.
Right?
No,
my kids are into hip hop.
Mine too.
Rock and roll's still very alive. It's just, it's not a mainstream thing. There hasn't been a number one rock hit in 25 years.
Yeah.
No, Chad was the last one, But what does happen is cult followings around albums and artists.
Yes.
You have tons of new rock and roll
Rival
bands,
Sons,
like
Glorious
Greta Von
Sons.
Fleet doing stadium tours worldwide,
Beaches,
beloved like successful as if they were Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
Right. And that happens because there's a cult following. People still love this.
Absolutely.
And I've thought about it a lot. I think rock and roll will always be around because it's like tension and release and cause and effect. Because my boss beat me up all week and like getting angry at work and having to deal with all this stuff, I effectively want to go to a show. It's like there's always going to be that societal tension where people want that release, that rock and roll or hip hop.
For me, it's like
metalism.
When I'm doing my dishes, I'll listen to like Latin music, and when I wake up in the morning, it's folk music.
Yeah.
But when I'm driving, I listen to rock.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that too.
Like rock and roll, it will always be
loud
that
music in the car is just a good thing.
You want to fucking drive 100 kilometers.
But it's funny, like I'm a workaholic, and you know how Spotify does that rap at the end of the year? It tells you what you've listened to.
Yeah.
And like I'm always shocked because it's like I'm always expecting it to be like I don't know what band, like Tame Impala, or maybe it's going to be The Who, or maybe it's going to be
Kendrick Lamar.
No, because I'm not a big hip hop guy. I don't hate it, but it's just not my thing. No, it's classical and ambient. And I was like, why is that? And I think, it's because I work so much, and when I work, I can't have lyrics.
No,
it distracts me.
I do the same thing.
Same thing.
I'm very fond of like Beethoven and Paganini.
Me too.
Yep. Yes,
Just
me
like,
too.
well, and when I listen to that stuff, I still go like,
I play it for my
water
players.
this down so much.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, there's songs where they hit that one chord and it goes on this big journey. And you realize it feels like the one chord's there because they're hitting the note of it all the time, but never return to it.
No.
And it's such a story and it takes you places and makes you feel things. And it's like, wow, this thing that was written 300 years ago has me crying in my living room.
It is a calming
it's
effect.
wild, huh?
It's wild.
Yeah,
It does,
really is wild.
And music's magic for that reason, I think.
Sure is.
It's just a bunch of noises.
Yeah, right.
And then we cry.
Well, it also, evokes, like there's certain, this came up recently, not in the podcast, but I was talking about it with some people in the office that when my oldest son was born, and because he was so sick when he was born, there were a couple songs I was listening to at that time, which I still can't get through without starting to cry. Not because there's even anything inherently sad about the song.
Right.
It's because of the association.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember when my wife was giving birth and I was out in the hallway, I was listening to Zwan. Do you remember Zwan?
Yes, I do.
Billy Corgan side project.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that song, honestly, was the single. I can't get through it without bawling.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was listening to a lot at that time was Badly Drawn Boy. If
Yep.
anybody.
I remember them. Yeah.
And same thing. I can't get through it now without tearing up, just because it's almost like a reflex action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
I'm-
a few songs that'll just bring me to my knees, man.
Like what?
I saw
What was
the
it?
Randy Carlisle, The Joke.
Oh, that's
If you
a
put
sad
that
one.
thing on, just
Yeah.
put it on 10, man.
That is an incredible song.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
that song?
That's so
it is
sad.
an incredible.
I heard that song and I forced everyone to listen to it. I was like, come here. And they're like, why are you listening to it so loud? I'm like, you'll see.
I heard her perform it live on Howard Stern.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard her album with Elton John?
No, but I hear it's great.
It's so good. Like Elton's retired, but he's like, well, I'll still make records. And then does that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing since Wings.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a great song. For me,
The Joke is
Robert Plant and
timeless.
Alison Krauss. The last track on that album, I can't remember.
Oh,
Your
should listen to that.
long journey.
oh,
Yeah.
It's about like their partner passes on, and
That was a really
it
good
makes me
record,
cry. But
That one got
honestly,
them the
last
Grammy.
night I watched the video of Ozzy singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and I just started crying like a baby, dude. He was just like, he was shaking, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
Apparently he was seatbelted in.
And it was partially because
'Cause he was
Lemmy
falling
wrote that
apart.
song for him, and he was his best friend.
Yeah.
And he's also passed
Well, that's
away. And I was
nice.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
Ozzy.
Yeah, I've got there's that Billy Bragg song. If you know who Billy Bragg is, he's got a song called Tank Park Salute. And it's a song about his father dying. His father died when he was young of like lung cancer. And like the fourth line of the song is like, Daddy, is it true that we all have to die? I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
fucking done.
Yeah.
The second that line, I'm just bawling like a baby.
My dad remembers the story of when I first asked him, like, is it true the sun's going to blow up? And then I said, like, oh, so we're all going to die. And I just started bawling like
Yeah.
a baby.
Yeah.
My dad remembers the moment. So I imagine your son probably asked you that question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But the,
and that's the beauty of art, man. I mean, that's why art
Yeah.
is such a fucking
Well,
profound
the
thing.
most
True.
amazing thing to me is a lot of times instrumental music will move me in that
Yep.
way. And that's where I'm like, whoa, what even is this?
That's funny you say that because, like, there's a song, and you're going to know this band because they were on TVT. There's a band, one of my favorite bands. In fact, I named my first son after them.
Can I guess
the Connells.
Oh, the Connells. That's right.
That's who I named Connell after.
Right.
And love that band. Fucking love that. And they've got an instrumental. One of their wives died, and they released a song called "Still Life" after that happened. Which is such a sad, sad, sad album.
Go check that out.
And the last song on the album is called Pedro Says. And it's an instrumental. It's not a single lyric. And it chokes me up and I don't know why even. There's just something about
magic.
it. Maybe it's knowing the context that it was written in after one of the wives
I think
died.
It's just the thing itself. Like when there's a really great composer, it can do that.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what we're all striving for in music, is to make people cry.
Yeah.
I think
or smile,
like
we want a drink.
In Chase the Bear, we want people to have fun like 95% of the time, but we haven't written that song that'll make them cry yet. I really want
Left Hand did it every once in a while.
It does actually. Yeah.
I thought we were doing it to make people jizz. Isn't that what we're doing?
Jonathan, I'm always jizzing, okay?
Oh, so you don't need music
I
for
don't
that.
need
No,
music.
I see.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a condition.
It's actually happening right now.
Wow, this is going to be the podcast that gets me canceled. Talking about my
He's got a French
loaves.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Loaves and loaves.
I was going to really quick bring it back to we
yeah.
didn't quite finish future plans because
please.
Next, I think we're September 28th.
Yeah,
Yes.
recording
We're
again.
booked to jump in the studio for pre-production
Great.
and get a whole bunch. They've got a ton of new ideas that I haven't heard yet, so I'm kind of excited.
We recorded
hear them
these
all.
5
Yeah.
over a year ago, and then we're kind of like testing the idea of doing singles, like what we've been talking about. And since seeing it like really work out, it's like, oh, okay.
Maybe there is something there.
Let's get
here.
5 more.
Keep pumping
So
them
now
out, right?
we've got like 2 albums worth of songs that we've written, and it's like we're not even thinking about an album. We're thinking like, okay, we record 5 songs for the beginning of the year, and then as soon as we like get into the new year, we harass Danny again and just start recording the next bit and just keep it going. All
Yeah, I want to release.
So we're at like this mindset of no breaks.
I want to release a song in November, which we don't have recorded yet.
Yeah,
So
me too.
that's kind of the timeline I've been.
Yeah.
What about shows? You guys playing any? Or
Yeah, we got some shows. We're doing
festivals,
Barnside
a couple,
Festival here in Vancouver.
when's that?
September, I want to say
And where's
September
that?
8th. And it's in Ladner, and we're playing with the Dead South.
Oh, wow.
And Jesse Roper.
Nice, Jesse.
And I think the Arkells are on there or something.
We got the
Amazing.
Cowichan Beer Fest.
Yeah.
That is on August 16th.
We have not played nearly as many shows as we normally do. We've only played 4 this year, where we normally have played 60 by now.
Yeah.
We got a booking agent who said the first year is going to be making introductions, and then the second year is when I'm going to start getting shows.
And we used to book ourselves a lot, but a lot of dead end gigs. Like you
Yeah.
get lucky half the time where it's like, whoa, you play this empty bar to
and
this
the other
guy
half.
who knows a friend, and then you're playing a festival.
Yeah,
and you're,
yeah,
whoa, oh, how did this happen?
So
But then
it's
the other
been
half's a
weird to
loss,
adjust
right?
to not playing as much, but they have been higher quality gigs. And I realized we did 7 years of not moving the needle, playing to 5 people at a bar.
Yeah. And
So-
our manager kicked our butt and said, hey guys, like you're a band that busks for a living and does these weird creative careers for a living to support your band that you play, that you want to make your living.
Yeah.
People want to see that. And so we started posting more consistently. And it's like with every post, even if it's unrelated to the songs, the streaming numbers jump up.
Yep.
And so we're seeing like, oh my gosh, it's as important as playing
That's how
live
it's supposed
shows
to work.
is to be consistent with this stuff. And so it feels like we just stepped into the modern age.
Yep.
And I kind of see that with your band because Dave is showing a little peephole into Default for the first time.
Yeah, it's really
and as
fun
a
to
fan,
watch.
it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's cool to see. Because on the main Default page is like a post from 10 years ago, right? And then Dave's like, look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
So
Makes me
we're-
excited as a
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
It makes me want to hear new music and stuff, right?
Our booking agents talked to us. We're definitely going to be picking up more next year. He's already booking some festivals for
Great.
next year.
Yeah, we had
And
a great
funnily
gig
enough,
last week.
his name's Nima. He also
Oh, I know
his
him.
primary thing is country. And he's like, I want to keep my fingers in rock because I think it's going to blow
Similar
up.
to how what you're saying, he wants to get into rock and stay there.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I met him at the BCCMAs this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Of course.
I was speaking and he came to
It's great. He was at our last show. We did 39 Days of July in Duncan, which we did when it was kind of starting up years ago, to literally just our friend David in the parking lot with a camera.
Yeah.
And then last weekend, there was well over 400 people all conjugated in there.
Nice.
I'd say probably 1,000 with the passerbyers, which was like, oh, okay, this is what the agent's talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, don't play the bar to 5 people over and over again. Do this.
Yes.
Like 100 times, you know.
And Vancouver too. I love this city so much, but it's such a tough city to play.
Yeah, it is.
The guy, like Vancouver rock crowds, they come up and they make me feel like they did love the show after. But when I'm playing the show, they're just standing there. I think everyone's too stoned.
Yeah, it's a Vancouver thing.
I have a similar theory on it. I agree. That's why it's sometimes hard to get people to go to gigs here because they have best intentions and then they get stoned. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should just order a pizza. And
True.
Like,
do I really want to drive from Chilliwack? Like, I don't know about you guys, but it's your hometown. Do you guys play here that much?
No, we play Calgary way more.
Yeah.
Way more.
Are you playing any Vancouver shows?
Not this year.
Oh.
No. Yep.
So has it always been like that?
That Surrey one in Softball City, Big Wreck in Marianas.
Oh, yeah.
When was that? Or that's coming
2 years ago?
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
Yeah. So that was the last.
Just FYI, I wasn't the guy with the laser pointer. Just so you know. That wasn't me. Just so you know.
Wow.
Have the crowds always been like that here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not like in the late 90s, early 2000s, very early.
I mean,
2000s,
if you were a band
right?
who had a real following, then I mean, like Nickelback had some pretty rowdy shows early on. But I think Vancouver has traditionally been a tough.
That's
place
actually
to play.
endearing to hear from someone who's seen it all here.
I think part of the problem is
for us is like, is it us? Do we got to be crazier?
No,
we want a venue that's 100 people capacity, because when you go to a show and it's packed and it's a tiny, tight little space.
Yeah, they close the railway.
Everyone's sweating and dancing. Well, but we have all these like 300 people rooms.
Is the railway closed?
Yeah, they shut down.
Yeah, the railway was a perfect room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though it had a big capacity, the actual dance floor was tight.
Now your option is like go to Lanaloo's or the Wise Hall. It's like, that's a
pretty big.
20 people or 300 people. I don't know what I can sell.
It's funny that the railway closed with such little fanfare or little.
I know.
Oh, there's some drama.
They changed ownership a couple of times.
There's some drama with the last owners. Right? We could get a little spicy there, but apparently some people weren't getting paid. And so there was a story from a band we knew who showed up to play a gig, and the bar just wasn't even open that night. So there was some drama behind the scenes, apparently.
I want to thank everybody again. So last little plug. Thank you, Danny Craig from Rock is Dead. Love talking to you always.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, boys of Chase the Bear. Here we go. That was fun.
Thank you, Mr. Jonathan.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks,
this is you're a walking legend, as you know. So it's an honor to sit here and talk to you.
I do not know that. I
don't
believe that
from
at
your
all.
social media, you seem to think you're like a walking public enemy, but that's not it.
Thanks for letting us interview you.
You're beloved here.
Okay, everybody, thanks so much. See you again.
Thanks, guys.